In this video, let's talk about the one thing that you need to be doing before creating a budget. And it's something that I teach people within my program, and it's given people tremendous amount of monthly and annual savings before you've even started your budget. So if that sounds interesting to you, let's get into it. This one little hack is called the 3-month look back. Okay, so this is for people that have never budgeted before and are just getting into it. Because what a lot of people do is they create a budget for the first time and they're estimating a lot of expenses because they don't actually know what the expenses are, right? Because they've never budgeted before, which totally makes sense. So what I am suggesting that you do is you create this 3-month look back for yourself, okay? So what you wanna do is take all of your variable expenses and you wanna put them in a list, okay? On a separate sheet to your actual budget. Write down all the expense categories. So these are things that you need to live on every month, but the expense amount changes every month. So think things like groceries, gas, utilities, etc. And the reason we're choosing these types of expenses is, again, because they're variable. So your fixed expenses, things like your rent or mortgage, those things are going to be fixed and we're going to know the cost of those every single month. So that shouldn't be a surprise. But what many people find is when they look back 3 months of these variable expenses, they're able to find extra money in their budget, which is incredible. So here's how it works. The month I'm currently recording this video is September. So you would want to look back June, July, and August through all of your transactions. Yes, this is going to be tedious, but trust me, it's going to be worth it in the end. So whether you use a credit card, you're gonna wanna look at your credit card statements. Whether you use a debit card, you're gonna wanna look at your bank statements. It's a little tougher if you use cash, to be very honest with you, unless you're writing down all of your expenses at the time that you use them. So just keep that in mind. Once you've done that, you have your list of your variable expense categories, again, like groceries, gas, utilities, maybe your health and fitness. You've put down the actual amount of dollars that you've spent in each of those categories in each of the 3 months prior to the month that you're creating the budget. And then you're gonna get the averages of those categories, and you're gonna look at each of the line items and think, okay, now this is where I want you to pause and think, what is the most important things in my life? What are they right now? Because that's where your money should be going. You should be ranking the most important things in your life. You should be prioritizing your expenses, and that's where your money should be going. So for example, like obviously the roof over your head is probably one of the most important things. And in today's world, we need things like utilities, internet, cell phones, groceries, we have to eat, right? So start ranking like what is a priority for you, and that's where I want you to put your money, because this exercise is going to open your eyes to where your money's going. And if you're living paycheck to paycheck and you feel like you have no extra dollars at the end of the month, this exercise is going to help you reorganize your priorities, which is awesome. Because I think a lot of times people think budgeting as this like restrictive action where, oh, I need to just, if I'm budgeting, that means I instantly need to cut expenses out. It means I instantly need to like dial my lifestyle back, which in some cases, maybe that is the case. But I want you to think more about budgeting as being intentional with where your money is going. Okay, so if you were to take 2 people, one person maybe is considered wealthy, one person's maybe considered poor, look at where those people are allocating their money. The wealthy person is probably saving, investing, whatever, 20% or more of their take-home pay towards a financial goal. And they're probably just crushing financial goal after financial goal. And the other person who, let's call them a poor person who lives paycheck to paycheck, maybe spent $500 at DoorDash last month. Maybe they spent $600 on Amazon last month. And it's like, that's why you're in the situation that you're in. You're not prioritizing the right things. So this exercise is going to help that. Now, let's go through 2 examples. So let's say like groceries, for example. Let's say the average amount of money that you've spent the last 3 months in groceries was $550, just a random number. You look at that and be like, you know what? Obviously groceries are important, but I could probably save about $50 a month going to the cheaper grocery store. My lifestyle wouldn't really change that much. I'm still eating the same things. It's just for a cheaper price. And I could probably realistically do that every month, $50. That's excellent. Anyone could just throw numbers around and say, oh, I'll just stop spending $50 a month with groceries. But you really need to think about the action that you're going to take to make that happen. Because anyone could just say, oh, I'm just going to spend less. But there's no action behind it and there's no why behind it. So I want you to think about those things. So this grocery example, it would be, I'm going to be shopping exclusively at the cheap grocery store going forward for the bulk of my items. And that's an actionable thing that you can do. Now let's look at another example. Maybe you have a gym membership and it's a fixed monthly cost, but let's say you do like a class or something every once in a while, and that's how it fluctuates, and you spend $30 or $40 or $50 a month for a gym membership with classes, and you look at that and you're like, you know what? I need to be doing more of this because my health and my fitness is an extreme priority for me. So instead of spending $30, $40 a month to do the gym membership and a class or two or whatever, I need to add like 3 or 4 more classes a month because this is so important to me. So maybe your average goes from $40 to $60 or something like that. Budgeting doesn't always mean reducing categories everywhere, okay? It means prioritizing where your money is going. Now, with that amount going up, say $20 a month, you would need to find somewhere else in your budget that maybe you can cut. And that's a little easier once you do the prioritization, because you're like, well, I'm spending all this money on Amazon. Maybe I could just stop buying less things off of Amazon that I don't really need. And it's just sort of a want item, okay? And you'll do this exercise for every variable expense category that you have. You'll look at the plus or minus of your 3-month average versus your new budget. And sometimes it'll be the same. Again, sometimes you'll be able to save money. Sometimes you'll want to spend more money. Total up the difference of the 3-month average and your new budgeted amount for that expense category. Total that up and you'll see the amount of money that you could potentially save every month just by doing this strategy. Now, I've had people work with me that have done this and saw $100, $200, even $300 a month extra that they were able to find if they hadn't started budgeting before and they just did this exercise. And then what's even more fun is when you take that monthly amount and you divide it by 12 and you see the annual amount that you could be saving, investing, whatever, towards a financial goal. It blows your mind. All the people I work with are like, why haven't I been doing this earlier? Where has this file been? And for context, I have this 3-month look back attached to the budget template, and you can get that down in the description of this video. It's completely free, by the way. Obviously, this has to be said, right? But I don't want you to think about budget as being restrictionary, but the less that you spend on other stuff in your life, the more you'll be able to spend towards a financial goal. So if that's pay down debt, if that's to an investment account, if that's to your kids' education future, whatever the thing is, it's just the facts. The less you spend, the more you can push towards financial goals, as long as you don't increase your lifestyle, okay? So hopefully this video was pretty tactical for you. Again, people that are using this are saving hundreds of dollars a month, and that equates to over $1,000 a year, sometimes even $2,000 in a year. Think about what you could do with $1,000 in a year or $2,000 in a year. Very crazy stuff. Again, my personal finance level up kit is in the description of this video. It's completely free. It's got a budget template, debt payment calculator, emergency fund calculator, and a net worth tracker. Okay, I'm uploading daily videos to YouTube, all things personal finance. So let me know also down in the comments, what topics do you want me to talk about and I can cover next. I will see you in the next one.